Hey guys, welcome back to the show. You're watching Adam's Garage 88. Today we have something special here. I just got in a few days ago. I'm not going to install this just yet. I've got a few other things I want to do. I still have air suspension I got to deal with and whatnot, but we'll get into that later on in the show. But today I just wanted to show you what I had going on here on the table. I just got in my 6-piston and 4-piston for front and rear big brake kit. Now these were custom made for me. I had them powder coated in a yellow finish with an emblem on there for my Ruby over here. I have 15-inch rotors front and rear. The 6-piston calipers actually come, if you look and see here, they come with the mounting brackets, so they're bolt-on, just direct bolt-on replacements. They already have the pads and everything with them, which is great. I don't have to worry about going and sourcing that. Easy to change out. You know, it's just 2 bolts right here. They pop out of there. They pop back in. Really nice construction. Brembo style brakes. Easy to put on. They're actually quite light. You know, about the same weight as a standard piston, caliper and caliper mounting bracket on the factory X5 here. So it's not that heavy. I like it a lot. The rotors themselves are pretty beefy. Like I said, 15-inch rotors. Now these are the rears. They do have the emergency drum brake built into them. 2-piece style. As you can see right there, there's 2 pieces. I went with a drilled rotor design. You can get drilled and slotted or different other types, but I chose the drilled version. I like it a lot better. So it's really nice. Now these are a little bit heavier. Obviously, they're 15 inches versus the, I believe, 12 inches on the factory. So these are actually pretty nice, robust. They're going to stop pretty well. It does come with the hardware kit. You have new brake lines, new crush washers and banjo bolts, additional washers here. So you have everything you need to put this on right out of the gate. Now, it does not come with brake fluid. That's something you're going to have to source yourself and doing all the work to put it on, obviously. But we're going to be showing that on in a later video in the future. So stay tuned for all of that. But today, let's finish up on the air ride suspension. I've got to work on that and get that taken care of. I already had the airbags and the air struts put on in an earlier video. We'll start with that. But I've got everything there. I've already got it plumbed in, checking for leaks. It does go up and down like I want it to. I have a couple issues that I got to work out, but all in all, it works pretty good. So let's get to it. Alright guys, here you can see I've already got the strut in. Everything's all lined up and good. I'm drilling the hole for the air line because this car originally did not come with any air struts. So I had to make my own holes and get everything plumbed in so they could fit to that. Alright guys, here you can see I'm running the airline right down the driver's side footwell area. I went through the firewall. I didn't want it to stick outside the car, so I want to keep it protected. So I ran it underneath the trim covers right there at the door. Ran it all the way from there to the back underneath the seat, and then plumbed it out where the trunk space is so I can get it hooked up to my temporary air tank. Alright guys, as you can see, it's a bit of a mess back here. I did opt out with the using the factory air compressor. I wanted to use that in the beginning, however, the way it was working, it wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. Plus, it's a restrictive 1/8" airline on it coming out of it. I wanted something more of a 1/4" MPT. So I'm going to have to go with an aftermarket style. I can still use the factory wiring harness, tap into it, and use the factory system when I get everything plumbed in and all the sensors working properly. So that way it will it'll work properly in the end. I don't have to worry about the dash lights coming on and everything. I do have this tank, but all this is for mock-up. I have other stuff coming in that will look a little bit better. It's all put together in one piece. This is a 5-gallon tank. I'm going to use a 4-gallon tank instead. I have a single compressor just like this one out. This is off of my other project I have outside. I had 4 of these on it and 2 air tanks, and I just took it off just for mock-up to test everything out. But this one, I'm not going to use it. It's a bit rusted out. It's been on there for a while, so I want to get a nice, fresh, clean one on there. It wasn't that expensive. It's actually not that expensive at all to put all the new stuff on there, but I'm going to put all this in here, replumb everything. I'm going to tuck some wires. I have a couple things I got to do, but I'm going to do something special with this. I'm going to put a wood floor in there, a custom wood floor base. I'm going to go ahead and notch out for the battery because the battery's in the trunk, just like a typical X5. I'm going to put the notch out for it right here in the center. Put the tank right here, and all the plumbing for the compressor and stuff. But thinking about putting it up in this area, so it's going to be a nice flat deck with a little area you can pull the tray out and access the battery, so you don't have to worry about pulling everything out. And I have this all set up, and then in the cover for it, I'm going to put a notch with a plexiglass lid on it so that you can see everything without having to pull the thing up. So Let's start with that. I've got the wood already right here. I got my saw set up, so let's go get it chopped up and get it glued together and get it ready to go.
I used a poplar wood. It was a little bit cheaper. I didn't want to go with an oak floor. I like the way the poplar looks. It's got a bit of a slight green to a reddish pink tone to it. So it looked pretty cool, especially with the gunstock stain I'm going to put on it. So I cut everything down to 36 inches by 36 inch square, so that I could trim out exactly what I needed to fit an exact piece in there in one piece.
All right, so we're gonna let that dry up and cure. Gotta get everything all sandwiched together, glued up and dry. From there, we're gonna cut it up and put it inside the car, get it all mocked up in place, get everything smoothed out. I wanna sand it down and get everything what I need to do after I get everything mocked up and fitting right in the car. But before I can do that, I have to let this dry. So we're gonna let it cure up here and let it sit overnight, come back and deal with it from then. So let's move on to the next step.
I just finished cleaning. I'm pointing to the points I've got to cut out. I got to cut out the original air tank brackets that it had, the little reservoirs on each side. Plus there's this little bitty bracket over here that I got to drill the rivets out and then pull it off like I just did. Getting everything cleaned up, the unnecessary things that I don't need anymore, that's not going to be useful. Plus I have to reroute the battery cables and a few other things, so that the floor sits in there nice and perfect, and I can just reroute that to the back, like the wiring harnesses over there. All that needs to be moved out and out of the way so that it fits, the flooring fits down in there pretty good.
All right, guys, that's it for today. I've got to wait for that to get dried up, to get the wood all prepped and ready. I've already got everything prepped inside the back of the trunk, moved everything that was unnecessary, unimportant for what I needed to do. Already moved all that out of the way. So we're ready to go for that. Just waiting for that to dry up. Get this wood all dried up here. And then get it cut, measured and cut to fit inside there nice and smooth and perfect.